Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, in this video, I will be doing a holiday book haul. So I have 13 books to share with you guys today, some of which I got for Christmas and others which I bought during my time in England where I spent the past semester. So let's just get right into it. First, I have the books that I got for myself during my time in England. Some of these I have mentioned on the channel before, so I will be quick. The first book I got for myself was Circe by Madeline Miller, which is a retelling of the myth of Circe, who is the goddess of witchcraft in Greek mythology and also a character in the Odyssey. I have heard so much talk about this book and it is one that I have really wanted to check out, but there was a really long wait at my library if I wanted to get my hands on it, so I decided to buy a copy for myself. Another book that I got for myself in Bath is Romantic Outlaws, which is a biography of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley by Charlotte Gordon. It was recommended to me by a classmate who said that it was a really good biography if I wanted to learn more about Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley, so I'm definitely excited to check this one out. I'm very interested in it. And finally, when I was in Stratford-upon-Avon, I decided to pick up a copy of William Shakespeare's sonnets. I don't read a lot of poetry generally, and I don't know many of the sonnets other than Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, which pretty much every public high school teacher makes you read. So even though I don't generally read a lot of poetry, this is definitely something that I wanted to give a shot, and I also just thought it was a really cute edition with little flowers and birds and strawberries on the cover. So now we are going to get into some of the books that I received for Christmas. These first two I don't know much about. They were gifts from my uncle, and that is In the House in the Dark of the Woods by Lard Hunt and Olive Kitteridge by Elizabeth Strout. All I really know about these books is that this is a creepy book set in colonial America, and this is a Pulitzer Prize winning story about a woman with some feminist themes. So going to check both of those out. I'm sorry I can't give you a better description of what they're about because honestly I don't know myself, but I'm excited to give them a try. Earlier in the video, I said that I bought Circe by Madeline Miller in England, and also for Christmas I received Madeline Miller's other book, The Song of Achilles. Again, this is another Greek mythology retelling about the relationship between Achilles and Patroclus. I have not read this book either, but I've heard so many amazing things about it, so I definitely wanted to check out both of these books, and now the only question is which one of them do I want to read first? I know that so many people love The Song of Achilles and that it's been very, very popular on BookTube and other book platforms for a long time, so I definitely want to get to both of these, possibly in 2020. I'm very excited about both of them. The next book that I got for Christmas is a historical fiction that I've had my eye on for a while because, as I've mentioned on this channel before, I'm obsessed with the Tudor era. I love the Tudor family. I love medieval English history. I find it very interesting, and out of the 6 wives of Henry VIII, I think my favorite is probably Anne Boleyn. I've been really fascinated with her for a long time, and then I heard about this trilogy by Laura Anderson called The Boleyn King, and this is a historical fiction trilogy about what if Anne Boleyn had a son with Henry VIII and that son then became king. So this series follows her son, who is Henry IX, and I think it involves a love triangle, and his sister Elizabeth is also a character. So this is something that I have really wanted to check out for a long time because it seems like it just perfectly fits my niche interest in Tudor history. The next book on my list I also don't know a lot about. My dad bought me this one, and it is one of the Hercule Poirot mysteries by Agatha Christie called Cards on the Table. Agatha Christie's other books that I've read are And Then There Were None, Murder on the Orient Express, and Evil Under the Sun. I also have Death on the Nile at home, though I haven't got to that one yet. I really do like her stories, and every single one I've read so far I have really enjoyed, so I'm definitely going to read this one too very soon. I will read you guys the back because I really don't know what this one is about. It says, Mr. Shaitana is famous as a flamboyant party host. Nevertheless, he is a man of whom everybody is a little afraid. So when he boasts to Hercule Poirot that he considers murder an art form, the detective has some reservations about accepting a party invitation to view Chaitana's private collection. Indeed, what begins as an absorbing evening of bridge is to turn into a more dangerous game altogether. So, definitely another book that I am excited to get to because I really do like Agatha Christie's stories, and they're also really easy to get through. They're not very long, and once you get started, you just breeze through them, or at least I do. So now we are going to finish up this haul with the hardcovers. 3 of these are mysteries or suspense, 1 is a fantasy, and the other is, I guess I would call it literary fiction. So I will do the fantasy first, and that is The Final Empire, the first in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is an author that I really wanted to check out once I got into fantasy because everybody talks about how he is such an amazing author in the fantasy genre, and he's written so many books that a lot of people I'm subscribed to really enjoy. I figured Mistborn would be the best for me to start because I know this is probably his most popular trilogy, and it's the one that I think I hear people talk the most about. I thought this would be a really great way to get into Sanderson, especially since there is a Mistborn sequel trilogy that I could possibly read after this. I don't know much about the plot of Mistborn other than that it takes place in a world where the Dark Lord has won and now there is an evil empire in charge of this kingdom, which is a pretty interesting premise. And I think the Mistborn in this series are people who have allomancy powers, which is a type of magic that I've never read about in fantasy before. So I definitely am excited to check out Brandon Sanderson. I know he is such an influential and well-loved author in the fantasy genre, and I'm really excited to check out Mistborn and some of his other stuff. Now we are at the 3 thrillers, and those are The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, If We Were Villains by Emil Rio, and The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. These are all thrillers that I have had my eye on and I've really wanted to read. The Turn of the Key is the latest by Ruth Ware. It came out this year and I've heard so much praise for it. I've only read one Ruth Ware before, which was The Woman in Cabin 10, and honestly, I really thought that book was only okay. However, I know it is a lot of people's least favorite Ruth Ware, and I've heard so many positive reviews about this book and also The Death of Mrs. Westaway, so I think I'm going to like this one more than The Woman in Cabin 10. This book follows a woman who accepts a job as a nanny for a wealthy family who live in a smart home, and the book is told via flashbacks as she writes a letter to her lawyer because she is currently sitting in prison for the death of one of the children, to which she says she is innocent. So a very interesting premise. This is also based off of A Turn of the Screw by Henry James, which I had to read for a class at college. So I think having read that, it'll be really interesting to read this and see what Ruth Ware did with that original story and her own take on it in a modern setting. If We Were Villains is a book that I have heard so much about since joining BookTube, and it's a book that I have wanted to get a copy of for a while. I know it's one of those dark academia books, kind of like The Secret History, which I got for Christmas last year, put on my 5-star predictions, told myself I was going to read, and didn't this year, but I definitely want to get to that soon, and this is another book that sounds really exciting to me. It follows a group of Shakespearean actors in, I think, a college setting, and one of them is murdered. So, I love murder mysteries. I love Shakespeare. Just sounds like a perfect storm of things I enjoy in books, and I'm really excited to check this one out. As for The Silent Patient, this is another thriller that came out this year, and it actually just won the Goodreads Choice Awards for Best Mystery or Thriller. And I know that my mom really wants to read this book, so she might actually borrow it and read it before me because she really wants to check it out. And I do too, I just don't know if I'm going to get to it this month. So this is about a woman who murders her husband and then she is silent. She goes mute and she will not talk to anyone about what really happened the night her husband died. So I'm definitely excited to check this one out as well. I've heard so many positive reviews for this book, and I always love a good thriller. As you know, if you've seen my channel before, that is my favorite genre, and I am absolutely a mystery fanatic. So lots of good books that I want to check out this year. And the final book that I have in this haul is another hot 2019 release, and that is The Testament by Margaret Atwood, which is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale I read a couple years ago, and I did watch the first season and a half of the TV show before I kind of fell behind, and I'm not sure when I'm ever going to get caught up. Honestly, The Handmaid's Tale I really like, but it's something that I have to be in the right headspace if I'm going to read it or to watch the show, because it is very dark. But I know I want to check out The Testaments because The Handmaid's Tale is the only Margaret Atwood I've read, and I think she is an exceptional writer and a really great storyteller. She has amazing choice of words, an amazing style, so I definitely want to read The Testaments. I just don't know when in 2020 I'm going to get to it, because I'm going to have to be in the right place in my life to dive into a story that is so dark. But I really like Margaret Atwood. I want to read more of her stuff, and I am very excited that I got my hands on a copy of this book. Okay guys, so I can't even lift all these bad boys up. Those are the books that I recently acquired. I hope you enjoyed this haul. If you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments. What did you think of them? Which one of these do you think I should read first? I would really like to know your opinions. Please leave a comment if you are so inclined, and like this video if you enjoyed, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a festive rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you in the next one.